Hey, thanks for joining us again. We're going to be up with Roy Rickstrew, the disability guru, talking about how do you get by until that disability check starts coming in. We'll be answering that question and more right after this. And good morning, Rogersville. Thanks for joining us once again. Roy, glad to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
What do you think of the new digs?
It's nice.
It
New
is
studio,
nice,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
New background. It looks nice and
I think that
woodsy.
Woodsy, because we're out in the woods because we got the trees in the studio. Yeah, I don't think the viewers actually can tell a whole lot of difference. You know, I mean, we can see the video. It probably looks a lot like it used to with gray background and a table in front and microphones. But to us, it's a whole new world.
Yes, it is.
In here. But thanks for coming in again. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with all of us. You brought up, I think, a good question. We teased it in the tag at the beginning. What about that period of time? You're hurt, you can't work, but golly, the checks aren't coming yet. What do people do?
Unfortunately, the bills are a lot of times for folks. So there's a couple things that are real important to remember. A lot of times folks are told by other representatives that they have to be completely out of the workforce and completely done, or else they can't be helped with their Social Security disability case, and it's just simply not true.
No, yeah.
You can actually make quite a bit of money and still pursue disability benefits. Substantial gainful activity this year, which is kind of the threshold for where they believe full-time competitive employment exists from an income standard, is $1,470.
Okay.
And so in theory, you can make $1,460 and still qualify for Social Security disability. Now, where one of the hang-ups are there is that there's 4.333 weeks in each month. And so if you're doing calculations at home to decide how much money you can make, you have to account for that extra third.
Little extra third, unless it's February, like this month, where we only have.
Yeah, they still either way, it's still 4.333 regardless.
In February?
Yep.
Okay.
Because, you can get those extra paydays.
They just divide it all out. They don't take into consideration what the actual month is.
That's correct.
Pretend that all 12 months are equal.
Yeah. Now, once you're in a payment status for Social Security or Medicaid or food stamps or anything else, a lot of times you can go back in and say, hey, look, my actual income was way less than you budgeted, and you can get adjustments. Mm-hmm. But, you're dealing with the government for a few dollars.
So they do take into consideration that income you earn in adjusting the benefits?
They can.
They can.
Yeah.
Okay.
For SSI, not for Social Security disability. I mean, it's just the amount that you've earned. But SSI is a needs-based program, and so they'll look at the income. In fact, folks who are on SSI, it drives them absolutely crazy when a spouse works or they work a little bit, because as their income fluctuates, Social Security has to adjust, and it takes Social Security 45 days to adjust. And so they're constantly getting letters that said, we paid you too much. Oh, we're going to pay you a little more, as they adjust for each of those months.
Yeah, not understanding that not everybody draws a solid 2-week government pays the same every week paycheck, right?
Well, and if Social Security was able to act in a more timely fashion, we wouldn't have this 45-day delay, and they wouldn't constantly be playing catch-up and having to mess with the numbers.
Seems like there ought to be a better way than having the government involved in all that, Roy, but that's a topic for a different show, I suppose.
So another thing for today.
Yeah.
A lot of times folks, when they file for Social Security benefits, they also file for SSI. Again, it's needs and income-based, and you end up living with friends or family or your parents or whatever the case may be. And one thing that's important there is that needs-based program will look at the value of the rent and utilities that you're receiving. It's an in-kind benefit.
So don't forget to include that.
Well, they pay you less money if they ultimately approve you.
Oh.
It counts as an income in that adjustment on your Social Security, on your SSI benefits. And so it reduces the amount of the maximum grant for folks.
Okay. So that raises the question for me then, how do you deal with the idea that, well, I'm only living with them until I get my benefits and can pay for it on my own?
Yeah, and this is something that comes up when people are approved that causes a lot of problems for folks. If you have an agreement and you are in debt to your family member, for example, if that debt is certain, it's guaranteed, you have a reasonable payment plan, but more importantly, an expectation of repayment, they won't count it as an income in kind. They'll count it as a bill that you owe, essentially.
I see.
And it doesn't reduce your grant in that scenario. But where people get tripped up is much like the verbiage you used. When I get approved, I'm going to pay mom back. Or if I get approved, no. Mom's hand is out.
I see.
Wanting to know where her money is.
Right.
And the fact that it's not there is a problem.
Non-conditional.
Non-conditional.
Means to be
Just like you
non-conditional.
were dealing with the bank down the road.
So document it.
Document it, a rental agreement. Doesn't even have to be a rental agreement. Everybody's going to be on the same page.
Yeah.
It's cleaner if you're going to file for disability to put down a rental agreement now. And so when 6, 8, 10
Rent
months.
is coming, rent is due, rent is past due.
Right. And it has
Rent
to be
needs to be paid
right. It has to be a reasonable amount. I mean, you're not going to file for SSI and pay $2,500 a month in rent.
to your mom
Right.
for your
And
bedroom.
You
Yeah.
can't owe mom $75,000 at the end of this. It has to be something that's, reasonable for what it is. You're renting a room in mom's house. I mean, what's the value of a room in mom's house?
You're right. Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. What else you got for us today, Roy?
Well, that's about it for today, I guess.
Okay.
But you'll see a lot of times people, when they're ultimately approved, they're expecting a $900 and something a month payment, and they end up with a $500 and something a month payment. And it's a big shock to folks, especially when you're working on the back pay. You're losing $400 and something a month for 10 months. It's a lot of money.
It's a big chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Well, just kind of raises the awareness that we need to hire somebody like you that knows how to get us through that process and make sure we get the maximum benefit that we are entitled to. And if people want to get in touch with you,
I am free today.
so you can call them.
Yeah, I try to carve out a little bit of free time every day so that I have same-day appointments for folks to come in. But, yeah, you can give me a ring at the office line.
417-882-1800. Call the Resource Center. Ask to speak to Roy Rickstrew. He'll be happy to see you today. Or go to his website, yourdisabilityrep.com. yourdisabilityrep.com. Both the phone number and the website are in the description of this video. And don't forget to join us later in the week. We got another show coming up in just a few minutes, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you soon. Rogersville. Thanks for watching.